together Operation Prosperity Guardian with more than 20 countries, including Bahrain, to do everything we can to preserve freedom of navigation, freedom of shipping in the Red Sea. And in fact, the United States and the United Kingdom, two participants in Operation Prosperity Guardian, responded effectively to the attacks just yesterday. We also had some 20 countries come together to make clear that if these attacks continue, as they did yesterday, there will be consequences. Again, this represents a clear threat to the interests of countries around the world, and it's important that the international community come together and respond to them.
Let me bring in Sami Nader. He joins me live from Beirut. He's the director for Levant Institute for Strategic Affairs. Thank you for being with us on the program. What do you make of Blinken's comments there? He's saying there will be consequences. What would those consequences look like?
I mean, it's the continuation of what we have been seeing for the last weeks, meaning that the coalition led by United States of America will target Houthi bases. Now the question, will it target the Houthi units operating in the Red Sea, or they will go into their hinterland in Yemen? If this is the case, I think that here U.S. will be in contradiction, because at one point they were pressuring Saudi Arabia to stop the war against the Houthis, and now they are facing the consequences. But most likely the operation will target Houthi unit operating in the Red Sea. And what's quite relevant in the last days is that Houthi capabilities are important to be dealt with, because they are launching a cruise missile, and they are launching missiles through drones. That means their capability, technical capabilities, have developed substantially lately.
Give us some insight into the strategy that the Houthis have been using. Do you think that it's working? Will this be one of the elements that'll push the U.S. to enforce more pressure on Israel to implement a ceasefire or to allow more humanitarian aid, uninterrupted aid, into the Gaza Strip?
I'm not sure that the strategy of disrupting international trade is very efficient, like the one that Hezbollah is doing on Israel on the northern border of the country. Because the consequences are bear by all the international community, and maybe for poor countries less than rich countries. And just as a consequence of what has been having, the cost of transport increased by 250%. And the international trade is not conducted by the only America. China is suffering, East Asia countries are suffering, and this is putting pressure on all the countries, and it's jacking up inflation, which is a worldwide problem today, and poor countries are suffering more than the rich countries of the worldwide rampant inflation. But still, I mean, Houthi and backed by Iran has shown their power to destabilize the region and to put pressure on the international economy, maybe to shed the light on what's happening inside Gaza. However, the consequences are not fairly distributed among different countries, and I fear that poor countries are are suffering more than the others.
Speaking of consequences, domestically in Yemen, what would the repercussions be?
The repercussion in Yemen are, I don't think that it will change drastically. For the last months, the peace negotiation did not led to anywhere. It's true that we have been seeing de-escalation especially in the tension that between Saudi Arabia and Yemeni, and that after the rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia that was sponsored or promoted by China. However, this puts at odds the Houthi with the rest of the international community, who was been pressuring Saudi Arabia to de-escalate the tension with the Houthi and to stop the war that has been waged against them. And now they are in the position of facing the Houthi threat and the asymmetric kind of war that they are waging against the major players backing up Israel, and namely the United States of America and the coalition they have put in place to free the trade routes in the Red Sea.
All right, Sami Nader, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour. I appreciate your contributions.